Hi, I'm Teresa Parker, and today I'm going to show you how to paint the flowers with the fence. And the colors I used are black, brown, white, yellow, purple, green, and it's on an 11 by 14 canvas, but you can use anything you want to use, paper, canvas, any colors even, whatever you'd like to use. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to try to set this up a little different today to see if you can see better. So today we're going to do the fence and the flowers. It is a beginner painting. It's pretty easy, and I hope I can make it easy to follow along. So you're going to need I have to quit shaking it. You're going to need a palette of some kind, paper plate, cardboard covered in aluminum foil or some kind of water resistant paper. And you'll need white, brown, black, green, yellow, and purple. You can use any paint you want. You can use any colors you want. I just chose those colors to do this today. So I'm going to start this morning. I'm going to put a little white. I'm almost out of my white. So I'm going to put out a little white and a little brown. This is just brown from Walmart. It's just a generic brown. You can also use burnt umber. If you don't have brown, you can make it out of mixing red and yellow and make an orange, and then mix just a little tiny bit of blue in it and it will turn it brown. Or you can use orange and red and a little blue to make brown. So I'm using white, brown, and black to start my fence, okay? I'm going to use a 1-inch brush. It's just a larger brush. On the side, it even tells me that this one's a 1-inch. They don't always tell you that. I'm going to dip it in water and I'm going to scrape it off. Okay, I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to dip it in water and I'm going to scrape it off on the side so that it's not so wet. Okay. Now, we're going to start with white. We're going to use quite a bit of white. We're going to touch the brown, always go from the side, and just a touch of black, okay? And it's not mixed up. We don't want it blended. So what we're going to do is put streaks on the canvas. We're going to start at the top and go down and then go back up because we don't want it blended. And the streaks need to be up and down because the fence goes up and down. Always grab a different mixture of colors, black, brown, white, and I keep dipping it in water because these are cheaper paints and I want them to spread a little better. And I've covered this canvas in white originally, so I need a little more paint on mine because it's having a hard time covering that white. Okay, so I just keep it damp. I keep my brush damp. I don't want it blended. You want it streaky. Oh, that's a little dark. That's okay. I'll just go back over that in some white, spread it around a little white here. See, but I'm not blending it. I just want it really streaky because wood is streaky. It's not solid color in most cases. Okay. Just make it all streaky here. Add a little white, lighten it up a little bit. A little black, white, brown, and a touch of black. And keep my brush wet. White, brown, touch of black. I'm gonna go over this spot. It's having a hard time covering this canvas. Unfortunately, the less expensive canvases are definitely harder to cover. Okay, black and brown, touch of black. I can tell where I've used this canvas before. It's bleeding through a little bit, but it'll go away. Okay, white, brown, and black. I've got a mess on my canvas, but that's okay. I just want to use all 3 colors randomly. and get the stripes going up and down. And it's just the basis for the fence. So we'll just keep the water on it. If it won't spread, see how it's showing my canvas through on this. If it doesn't spread, I add a little water. And sorry, my dogs are barking. So you do white, brown, a little black. And everybody's fence will be different. My fence is different every time, as you can tell by that picture. And white, brown, and black. And keep going all the way around the edge. If you have a wraparound canvas, go ahead and paint the side here. A little water, just make it spread a little better. Okay, yeah. It is pretty dry this morning here. I'm surprised. It should be humid. Okay, so I think I'm gonna add a little bit more black to this side and white, because I want to have a little black in there just to make it darker. Okay, so now you have a nice mess. It's not blended, it's streaky, and the streakier the better. I'm just gonna cover the canvas a little bit better. Okay, the streakier the better. So now mine is pretty well dry. It's a pretty dry day today, but I do want to make sure on this one it does go to the bottom. So I'm gonna add a few streaks at the bottom. I'll cover up most of it, but I do want the canvas to look right. Okay, little streaks, add a little streaks, just doesn't matter. Just as long as it's not all blended and flat, because you want to see, sorry about that, you want to see all the colors. So now what we're gonna do is we need to make our fence actually separated into boards. So we're gonna tip just the end of this into black. I still have some other colors, that's okay. So see, the black is on the very tip of the brush. And I want mine to be about, I don't know, 3 inches apart, I guess. Oh, it's not dry yet, that's okay. So I'm gonna start about here. I'm just gonna barely touch the canvas, and I'm going to bring it down. Now, if your canvas is totally dry, you can put your pinky on the canvas, touch with the brush and pull, and the pinky will control your finger. But see, my canvas is not dry, and I made a finger mark, so I'll cover that later. But that's one way. You can stop the video and wait for it to dry and use your pinky to support your hand. Okay, sorry about my dog. I'm gonna get more black on the very tip, and I'm gonna go, about here. That looks about right. And if you have a wraparound canvas, make sure you bring your line all the way from the top to the bottom. And that way it wraps around the canvas and the picture just keeps going. Okay, little fence, need a little more black on the tip. I'm gonna start here. And fences aren't perfect. It does not have to be perfectly straight. I hope that's not shaking too much. Okay, we're gonna go here. About right here, and I'm gonna do another line for another fence post, or a fence panel, a board. Okay, that's about right. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. We're gonna cover most of it. So I'm gonna rinse this out. And I'm going to, whenever I rinse my brush, I don't want a whole lot of water to start with, so I just tap it off on here. Now you can use a paper towel. If you rinse your brush really good, you can actually use a regular towel and save the towel. You just rinse it out as much as possible before you touch the towel. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna have to cover that finger mark. And what we wanna do is make it look more like a fence. So I'm gonna switch brushes to a smaller brush. This is a 16 or a 1/4 of an inch brush, about that big. It's not very, it's just a nice size brush. So now we're gonna dip this into a little brown and white. I've already got it kind of mixed on there from when I mixed all my colors. And a little brown and the white on the very tip. And what you want to do is add some streaks to the fence. You barely want to touch it, and you don't want a consistent straight line. Just put in a few lines randomly, because the fences always have, the wood always has some lines in it. Sorry, can't talk this morning. And oops, that's bouncing a lot. My camera's bouncing. I hope this works. Okay, so we're gonna put in some random streaks here on all the wood pieces. It doesn't matter if you pick up a little black and you want them random. So long, some of mine will be long, and some will be short, okay? And they don't have to be straight. These are just parts of the wood that came through when they were cutting it from the tree, okay? We'll go over here and just do a few random lines with the brown and white, just so it just kind of stands out a little bit. Okay. And just kind of want them random here. Put in a long one and maybe a long one. Okay. So I've got a few lines just to kind of make it look a little bit more real. Okay, so now most of the wood, we try whenever we go buy it, we try not to have knots in our wood, but it does have knots. So what I do is I dip it in the brown. I want this a little bit more brown than white. So I make it a little bit more brown. And I'm just gonna take it, oops, and I'm going to touch where I want my knot in my wood. And I'm gonna touch it, I'm gonna push it down and just turn it in a circle like that, okay? Push it down, it just doesn't need to be perfect. It's a knot in the wood. Okay, I want that a little more dark, I think. So I'm gonna go with a little bit more of the brown and I'm gonna make it darker. Okay, see how it's not perfect, it's just a knot. And I think I'll do another one. Trying to think about where my flowers are. I think that's good there. And now I'm going to go ahead and fill in around the knot. So the tree grows around the knot and it usually leaves little lines. So I'm getting some more of the brown. Okay, it's kind of a brown and white mixture. I'm gonna start above it. I'm gonna bring it down real light touch and around and around. And maybe another line here, little tiny line. And this one I'll start higher right next to it. And I'm gonna go around and down. And another line out here, and maybe a couple of other lines around it. And then down. So we're gonna complete that knot, okay? And then I don't want it real smooth, so I'm kind of making it a little choppy, because when you cut a knot, it never turns out perfect, okay? So once we paint everything else, the knot will actually look like a pretty good knot. I do want this kind of thin at the top here, thinner and thinner. Okay, now I'm gonna rinse out my brush. And I'm gonna use this same brush. I'm gonna tap it on my paper towel and get the water out for the grass. So for the grass, I'm gonna use some green, oops. I have sap green right here. And this is just folk art. And I'm just gonna put a little out here on my plate. Okay, now this I'm just gonna touch the very end of my brush. I'm gonna try to keep it on the end to save some paint. Okay, like that. So it's got a nice chisel edge. I'm gonna start with just green. And I'm gonna put in the grass. I'm gonna barely touch it. And I'm gonna go up and as thin as I can. Some are gonna be thick. And we're gonna put these grass pieces in randomly. So they're gonna go all different directions. They're gonna be tall, they're gonna be short, and it's gonna be random. So I'm gonna put, whoop, they got a little tall, that's okay. Some are too fat. Now I'll just go over those, and we're gonna make them different, make the grass different lengths. Okay. And we're just gonna put it in random, because we're gonna add a couple of colors and make it darker and lighter. So we're just gonna put this in across the bottom. A little more paint. So barely touch it. Mine are turning out, as you can see, it's thick and thin. So what I'm doing is on the very chiseled edge, I'm just touching the canvas and I'm pulling up and then releasing up and releasing. And the later I release, of course, the longer sorry, it's shaking, the longer the grass. Okay? So, up, I'll make that long and thin, long and thin. Okay, so now I'm gonna lighten that up a little bit with some yellow. And this is actually Outdoor Indoor Yellow by Apple Barrel. It's like 59 cents at Walmart. Sometimes I like just the cheaper stuff, works great. I'm gonna just kind of blend it in a little bit with my green and lighten up the green. See how light that is? And I'm gonna put in some light grasses. Kind of give it a little bit of a highlight, a little dimension going on here. They can be short and tall. Random. Oop, a little yellow, that's okay. Some grass is pretty yellow. And if you wait till August, here it's all brown. Okay, so use a little more paint and put those in. Okay. I'm kind of trying to fill in the bottom more than anything because we're going to cover most of it anyway. Okay, so I've got some random long ones. I definitely want some spikes sticking out just to be a little different. Okay, they're a little thick. That's okay. Put a thin one through it and you won't see it. Okay, so I've got my grass on there. Great. Now with the same brush, I'm going to put in my vine. So I'm going to just use the dark green, dip it in the green. We're going to use the chiseled edge again, which is this part of the brush. We're going to barely touch it again, and we're just going to go straight up. Now this doesn't have to be straight. This is going to be crooked because it's going to be, just a vine. Start at the bottom very loosely. Excuse me. We're going to go up, and we're just going to kind of bend a little and up and over. And then I'm going to dip it back in the paint, keep my chiseled edge flat. I'm going to go opposite direction and kind of weave this into the vine. And so I can have like two pieces. And if it's missing, it's okay. We can add a few leaves and cover what we don't like. The nice thing is you can put leaves anywhere and cover it. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in some leaves. So there's a couple ways we can do this. Okay, we can, oops, sorry, I'm shaking the camera. We can take just green and you can make it, I'll start down here, make it the bigger on the bottom and darker than they are at the top. Because at the top of the vine, they're just starting to come out, so they're gonna be a lighter color and a little smaller. So at the bottom, we're gonna do a big leaf. So you can make just a plain leaf, start at the top on the chiseled edge and kind of come down round like a parenthesis. And on the other side, start at the top and maybe another parenthesis. And you just kind of fill it in. Okay, and then we'll highlight that later. So this is a really easy leaf to do. We're going to put them in randomly, like this is part of my vine. We'll just put them in randomly and we'll fill them in. They don't have to be perfect. Okay, and as you get closer to the top, they're going to get a little smaller. Just my parentheses. This is the easiest way I know how to make a leaf. And we'll make them smaller. And you put your leaves wherever you want to put them. Okay? Now, to do a one-stroke leaf, I'm going to wipe off the paint off my brush. I'm not going to rinse it. I'm going to put half of my brush in the green, half of it in the yellow. I'm going to take it to a clean spot on my plate and I'm going to push down hard, back and forth. I'm going to make sure it gets more yellow. Okay, see how that's split on my brush? The other side's not good. See how that is split on my brush? Now, whenever you do a one-stroke leaf, you're going to touch it. And we'll go right here. You're going to push And you're gonna pull a little and turn the brush and come up on the edge so you have a nice point. So I'm going to push, pull a little, turn, and come up on the end of the brush. I just need to make sure I have enough paint. So push and pull. Takes a lot of paint for this. So I'm gonna go half and half again. Okay, and you're gonna touch, you're gonna push, pull, and turn, and it comes straight up off the canvas. And that is a one-stroke leaf. So you put in whatever kind of leaves you want, wherever you want to put them. And we're just gonna kind of fill in the vine a little bit. And as you get closer to the top, they're gonna be a little smaller, okay? And what we'll do, if you do the comma leaves, we're gonna go in and we're gonna highlight it, and we can match these little one-stroke leaves. One on the end, another one on the end. So for the one stroke, it's half and half. And you just blend it on the plate back and forth to really get a lot of paint on that brush. If it's dragging, you don't have enough paint. Oops, sorry, I'm trying not to shake the camera. Okay, so we're gonna put all sorts of leaves around here, bigger at the bottom, bigger at the bottom, and maybe more green instead of yellow. Okay, so we're just gonna fill it in, and you can put leaves on the outside of it too, further away, because we're gonna do some little veins here and get them all blended in. Okay, so I've got a lot of leaves. So what I want to do now is I just want to take just the green on the very chiseled edge, okay? And on the one-stroke leaves, I'm going to go ahead and add the little veins that go out there and attach them all to the vine. And if it starts dragging, I have to get a little more paint. And I'm just using the very tip. And if you tilt it back, tilt the brush back, you can get just those outside bristles. See? Sorry about my dogs. They're all going out. Now, on the leaves you do out of the parentheses like this, what we can do is get a touch of yellow, and we'll just go in and highlight it a little bit. And we'll give it a little yellow to add a little color. Oops, that's the other one. Okay, just to give it a little dimension, brighten it up a little bit. And you don't have to fill it in, you just want to put in some random yellow to give it a little bit of color. Okay, put that in there and put that like that. Okay, then I'm going to go in with just my green on my edge, my chiseled edge, and I'm just going to draw in the veins here. A little thick, it's okay. I'm going to connect all the leaves. And this one I think I missed. And we just want to bring them all to the vine. Okay, so they're all touching. Alrighty, I think that looks pretty good. So now we're going to rinse our brush. And we're going to pat it dry. I'm going to get a little more white because I'm out of white. And now we're going to do our little daisies. Okay. Now, you're going to take the same brush and you're going to go at it from the side, the clean brush. We're going to go from the side and we're going to get quite a bit of paint on that brush. Okay. So we're going to push it into the brush just like a one stroke. We're going to get paint, we're going to push it in. Back and forth. Fill that brush up. Now I'm going to put one about right here. You can put them anywhere you want. I'm going to do a clock. So I'm going to start at 12. I'm going to touch the brush. I'm going to push and I'm going to pull it down and straight back up to make that little petal. I'm going to keep a lot of paint in my brush. I'm going to go to 3 o'clock. I'm going to go to 6 o'clock. Push and pull up to the center. A lot of paint. 9 o'clock, push and pull up to the center. Then you fill in 1 o'clock, and you don't want them to be all the same length because flowers are all different. We'll make this short, okay, and we'll fill in here and here, and maybe a little more paint, and maybe here and here. That's a little long there, so I'm going to make this one a little longer. Okay, that's it. We'll do a lot more paint. Now this one I'm going to have like that is kind of bent over. So you're going to start from, here's my center point. I'm going to start here and kind of bend up, push and pull up, push and pull up, push and pull up. See? Kind of curve a little bit and maybe a couple more. Okay, so that one's kind of laying over, or you can see it from the side. And this one I'm going to do up about right here. I'll do 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Okay, so you push down, pull in, and pick up the brush. Push down, in, pick up the brush. Everything goes towards the center. Push down, pull up. And if you make them thick, you have fewer petals, which is fine too. Okay, so now we're done with that. We're going to rinse the brush out. And I'm going to get all the excess water off. It does hold a lot of water. Okay, so now I want to go back to the green. And just dark green. And I'm going to use that chiseled edge again. And I'm going to put in my stem. Just lightly touch it and bring it down. And lightly touch it and bring it down. It doesn't have to be straight, of course, because most of them aren't straight. Okay, need some more paint. And I'll bring it down from about right here all the way to the bottom. I am sorry if that camera's shaking. I hope it's not. Okay, so for the flowers, I want to give them some leaves. So we can do the leaves with the parentheses, right? Parenthesis, parenthesis. Fill it in. This is a super easy leaf. And add a little yellow to kind of highlight it. Give it a little different color. And then, of course, we want to give it the veins here, here, and here. Okay? If you want to do one stroke, you just wipe off your brush. Sorry about the camera. You can do half yellow, half green. And you're going to go back and forth on the plate. And it's half yellow, half green. You're going to put the brush down, flatten it out, pull it up, turn to the tip, like that. Okay, makes it quick and easy. Give it a vein, or you can do, again, you can do your parentheses. Okay, so let's do that again, yellow and green. And blend it together. We're going to do 1, 2. Oops, that one didn't work out too good, but that's okay. And 3, and 4, and maybe one more down here. Oops. Okay, a little more yellow. Bring it in. Give it the little veins. And you can also use a little tiny brush if you want to later and go in and put your veins in with a thin brush. It's however you want to do it. And we're not at all, but you do want to connect those to the stems. Okay, so that looks good there. Now I'm just going to wipe off my brush, okay? And we're going to dip the very tip of it in the yellow. So you have yellow on the tip, and you're going to give the flowers a center. Just a little yellow tap, 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 tap. On this one, you're going to tap it up so it sticks up a little bit above the flower like so. There you go. And those flowers are good. I'm going to rinse my brush. And I think the ivy's a little plain, so I do like adding a little wisteria. So I'm going to rinse my brush out. Oops, I'm going to dry it off on the paper. And now I'm going to get the purple. So this is Violet Pansy, and it's by Folk Art. It's just a light purple. You can use any color you want. Purple, pink, red, whatever you want to use. So now I'm going to dip half of my brush in the white, half in the purple, and I'm going to lay it on the plate, go back and forth, so my brush is half white, half purple. And I'm going to decide where I want the wisteria. I want it maybe like right here. That's where I'm going to start. So I go at the very end. I'm just going to push my brush, and I'm just going to dab, 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 dab. Okay? I'm going to make sure there's plenty of paint on the brush. I'm going to reload, put purple on one side, white on the other. And I'm going to dab, dab, dab. Now, it's smaller on the top, and it gets bigger and fat in the middle, and then comes back down at the end to a small piece. I don't think I have enough purple, so I'm going to add a little purple here. Okay, maybe a little more. So just dab, dab, dab. Okay. So then I'm going to reload over here. I'm going to use a little purple, a little white, and maybe put one right here. Start at the top, work my way down, make it fatter in the middle. Hold on, baby. That's my dog. And purple and white. Add a little purple and white. Bring it down to about right here. It's kind of fatter in the middle. Oh, sorry, my dog wants in. I'm going to do a little more purple just because I like the purple in here. Make it a little darker. Okay. And I'm going to put another one up here. So let's do purple. Oops. And purple and white. Got a lot of paint. Maybe about right here. Make it fatter in the middle. I'm just dabbing. And if I want to use more purple, I can always just use that other side like so. I'm going to put a small one here. Okay, I don't want it blended. I want it to definitely look like it's different colors, purple and white, not blended together like a little blob. If you get a blob and it's blended too much, let it completely dry. If it's white, if it turns out more white, you can go over it with a little purple, just dot it in. If it's too purple, you can go over with a little white, just dot it in. So I'm going to rinse my brush here and dry it off. Okay, now I'm going to use the green, and we're going to put in the little pieces of bottom of the flowers here. I'm just going to tap it on the bottom and bring it to a V, and then put it into the ivy, okay, into the vine, and there we go. So I'm just gonna, oops, I messed up. So get a little green. I'm gonna do it a triangle. See, I'm just dabbing it, and the bottom of it, my brush goes to the same place on the bottom, and it just kind of makes a half circle, and the bottom of it's a point. So just make a half circle, dab, 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 turn my brush, and bring it down to the ivy. Dab, dab, dab my brush. The ivy or the vine, whatever you want to call that. I don't like this, so I'm going to actually put a leaf here. Okay. So you can cover anything with leaves you want. It hides a lot of things. And I think that's about it. So it's a very quick and easy painting. You can use any colors you want, any style flowers you want. And I hope you had fun and you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing your paintings on my Facebook page. Sorry about my dog. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.